Hello, guard officers of the Astra Militarum. In this video, we're going to be discussing something very fun. And I don't do a lot of mechanized detachment content, but we're going to be discussing a 500 points list in the King of the Colosseum game mode. And some of you will be playing in escalation leagues where you start at 500 points and then you keep adding 500 points to get to 2000 points. And some of you will have some interest in playing King of the Colosseum. So 500 point lists and smaller than 2000 point lists are a lot harder to build due to limited units. Especially in Astra Militarum, you're going to want to bring officers to give orders because synergy is what makes the army really powerful. However, in 500 points, you're really limited. So the rules for list building in King of the Colosseum is you need a warlord, you need two infantry units that are not characters, and you need maximum of toughness 9. So you can't take toughness 10 or higher. So those are the restrictions, and you also cannot bring any epic heroes, which means no Lord Solar, no Ursula Creed, no Gaunt's Ghost. So what can we bring? I think that this particular list is a very oppressive and super competitive 500 point list for the mechanized detachment. And our list is two Chimeras, a Catachan command squad with the Ogryn Bodyguard running the Brute Shield and Ripper Gun. We have a Tech Priest Enginseer, and we have the enhancement that gives rerolls. So you give the enhancement for 10 points to a Tech Priest Enginseer, and in the shooting phase, you can mark a transport, and that transport can reroll the hit roll. So I think it is a powerful enhancement. And then we have Ogryns and Kasrkin. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Kasrkin in one Chimera, and one of the Chimeras will be a heavy flamer Chimera, mainly as an Overwatch threat, and one of them will have heavy bolters. And the reason why is you want to re-roll hits on the heavy bolters. They have sustained 1, so every failed hit that you re-roll, you have a chance of getting extra hits out of that sustain. So re-rolls with sustain are really good. And we only bring this enhancement not because we're bringing the Tech Priest just to buff Chimera shooting. It's because this list is designed to be very oppressive. It's designed to be super tough as well as do a crap ton of damage. So at toughness 9 in the Astra Militarum, the best thing you can bring, the biggest thing you can bring is a Chimera. You can't bring a Hellhound because it's toughness 10. So we have a Chimera, which is the biggest thing. And then we have a Tech Priest to buff that Chimera in the command phase to give it a 4-up invul. And if it does take fire, then you can also repair. And in the mechanized detachment, you really want to keep your transports alive because your detachment rule is that disembarking units get +1 to the wound roll. So the toughest unit you could bring is a Chimera, and the Enginseer makes it a lot more durable. And the enhancement just makes it shoot a little bit better into things like chaff, which you will be seeing because it's a 500 point list. People are bringing smaller things. The Catachan command squad with the Ogryn Bodyguard is ridiculously durable. The Ogryn Bodyguard gives a 4-up Feel No Pain to your commander, who has 3 wounds, and the Brute Shield gives it a 4-up Invulnerable save. So, especially if you're in cover, this is a very durable unit. Also, you want the Catachan command squad instead of any other command squads because the Catachan command squad has assault keyword. So if the transport stays still, you can disembark within 3 inches, advance, and then shoot with the unit. And when you do shoot, since you have disembarked, you get +1 to the wound roll. And you can also use Clear and Secure Stratagem, which gives you full rerolls. So it is really good damage potential. And the cool thing about the Catachan Command Squad is that you can bring all 4 veteran guardsmen as special weapons, or you can bring medic, or you can bring the regimental banner. I wouldn't bring the Voxcaster. It's kind of useless here, but I would definitely consider the medic because that makes your squad a lot more durable. And if you have trouble with OC and you're worried that opponents are going to out OC you, if you add the regimental banner, then you can get 12 OC. So let's say the opponent kills off some of your models. You want to kill off the regimental banner. And then you want to start killing off the special weapons guys. And then either the Ogryn or the commander. I would say kill off the commander before the Ogryn. The reason why is because if the Ogryn bodyguard dies, the commander no longer has the 4-up Feel No Pain. But if you kill off the banner guy, your next command phase, your medic can revive the banner guy. So you can revive the banner guy onto an objective and give your entire squad +1 to their OC. And so it's a good way to just flip objectives by bringing guys back. And so it's very durable. The Chimera is the most durable unit you can bring. The Tech Priest makes it more durable. And the Catachan Command Squad with the Ogryn Bodyguard is extremely durable. So it's really good at holding objectives. And then you have Ogryns, which are pretty durable. Not that much OC, but it has Ripper guns that get bonus to wound. So they're pretty good against things like Marines. And the Kasrkin, this is your big bomb. If the enemy brings a big Toughness 9 unit, the Kasrkin are probably able to take it out. So against a Screamer Killer, Toughness 9, 2-up base save, 10 wounds. The Kasrkin with Take Aim, its data sheet ability is that it can order itself. So if you manage to get Take Aim on the Kasrkin, you do an average of 10.6 damage. You can kill a Screamer Killer. Doomsday Arc. If you have Take Aim and you use Clear and Secure Stratagem, only if they're on an objective, then you can do 14.4 damage and you can kill it. Without Clear and Secure, you're not likely to kill the Doomsday Arc, but you do have the Chimera it is disembarking from that can also fire at it and finish it off. So it's good against that. And now we're going to compare the Command Squad with the Ogryn Bodyguard with the Kasrkin, and it's going to be firing at the Doomsday Arc. The Command Squad is only going to do about 3.34 damage. It's not that good. It's not damage efficient. If you go up against a Doomsday Arc, you want to use the Kasrkin. Now here are numbers for the Chimera plus the Tech Priest Enginseer buff and 2 Ogryns in the firing deck against a Doomsday Arc. You can do 6.625 damage. So the Chimera, it can put out some damage. The Ripper guns put out about half of that, and the Chimera does the rest. So you can have some reasonable amount of supporting fire. And against Assault Intercessors, which are standard Marines with a toughness 4, 3 up, and 2 wounds each, Kasrkin can do about 5 to 6 Marines, and they are not efficient. Use Ogryn on Marines, and we will get to that. Assault Intercessors. The Command Squad against them, they kill about 3 Marines. Ogryns against Assault Intercessors kill about 5. And Ogryns with Clear and Secure, so let's say the Intercessors are holding an objective, then you kill almost 9 of them. So Kasrkin are 110 points, Ogryns are 60 points. So you're going to be doing the same with Ogryns that Kasrkin are, and Kasrkin cost almost as double as Ogryns. So you want to use the Kasrkin on big, heavy targets. That's why they're there in your list. And Ogryns you want to use against smaller chaff targets. And if you see the Command Squad, they don't do as much damage due to their weak ability to make hits because they can't order themselves. I don't think you can even order the Command Squad because I don't think it has the right keywords. But essentially, They're not very good at damage dealing, but they are extremely durable. They stand on objectives and provide a little bit of extra firepower. Next up, we have the Chimera and 2 Ogryns in the firing deck, kills about 6 Marines. So the Chimera is reasonably good with the Ogryns in the firing deck. So you might not want to pop the Ogryns out right away, or maybe you're using the Chimera as a conveyor, meaning you move the Chimera forward, you pop some guys out, and then you walk Ogryns behind the Chimera, jump in the Chimera. So when you use the Chimera as a conveyor, then you're going to have Ogryns in the firing deck. And so you can have about 6 Marines killed. Next is Screamer Killer into the Chimera with a 4-up invul. We're going to do some defensive calculations just to show you how tough a Chimera actually is. So with its ranged bioplasmic scream and hitting it in melee, you're going to do a little better than 7 damage. You're unlikely to kill the Chimera that has 11 wounds. A Doomsday Arc into a Chimera. And the Doomsday Arc we're going to consider having heavy, and it's going to have lethal hits on the Gauss. So firing all that into a Chimera with a 4-up from the Enginseer, you're going to do on average 7.5, unlikely to kill. Old One Eye into the Chimera. That is a Tyranids unit. With its strike profile with a 4-up invul, it's going to do 6 damage. It's unlikely to kill. Into a Chimera without the invul, it's going to do 10 damage. And if it gets an extra attack in, it could kill the Chimera. If not, then it's not going to kill the Chimera. So even without the invul, the Chimera is pretty durable. You don't really want to get into melee range against some of the monsters, but if you do, you could possibly survive, and that's a 6-up save. That's not really reliable to CP reroll it, so I wouldn't. But with the Enginseer, it is extremely durable. So next up, we're going to be doing a map study. King of the Colosseum is played on a 36-inch by 36-inch map, and objectives are placed 6 inches in from the edges and 18 inches up from a corner. And there's one smack dab right in the middle. You have some ruined walls going around, and then you have some L-shaped ruins near the middle. So in this sample deployment, we're going to put a Chimera up here with the Kasrkin. The Kasrkin have a 6-inch scout move. So you can move that Chimera up if you're going first, then move it 10 inches, and you have a stratagem called Rapid Dispersal, which allows you to make a D6-inch move after disembarking. And so with Rapid Dispersal, you can hit quite far into their deployment zone with your Kasrkin. So if you go first, you can make a big alpha strike. You don't have to move the Chimera this way. You can move it inside and hit something along the front line near the middle of their deployment zone as well. The other Command Chimera with the Command Squad, we can move it somewhere into the middle, and with a regular 10-inch move, you can make it onto that middle objective. You can drop off your Command Squad with the Ogryn Bodyguard, which is really durable to screen the Chimera, because in King of the Colosseum, you cannot go through walls. Nothing can go through walls. Infantry, vehicles, monsters, it doesn't matter unless you have an ability, a stratagem or a datasheet ability that lets you go through walls. You can't go through walls. You have to climb over them or go around them. So this is a good way to screen your Chimera from getting hit. You can move your Ogryn 6 inches and within 3 inches of the Chimera and pop the Ogryns back in. So anywhere where the Chimera has line of sight, the Ogryns that are using the firing deck also have line of sight. And so here you can hit quite a bit of the board. Now you don't have to move your Chimera this way. You can go towards the bottom. You can go towards the top a bit. But the Chimera here can really get into good position and set up the Command Squad with Ogryn Bodyguard to really hold the objective, put a lot of OC on the objective, and tell the opponent, you're not taking this, go around. Go to a different objective. You're not taking this one. And we have the Enginseer, and we put it right here. So when we put it right here, we can mark the Kasrkin's Chimera in the command phase, and it'll give it a 4-up invul. If you advance it and make a reasonably good advance roll, it can buff the Chimera in the shooting phase as well, or it can just make a regular move, be within 3 inches of the other Chimera, and give that a shooting buff as well. So if you place the Enginseer in between both Chimeras, it gives you an option, depending how the opponent deploys. So the mission on King of the Colosseum is take and hold. You get 5 VP for primary that you hold, up to 15 VP a turn. It is the Chilling Rain mission. One great thing about the Mechanized Detachment is the Tech Priest Enginseer is fairly cheap. You don't really need orders. Kasrkin can order themselves. And so the detachment rule is so strong, and the clear and secure stratagem is just so strong, that the mechanized detachment, I believe, is the most competitive and the most oppressive way to play in a 500-point game. And rapid dispersal gives you that extra little movement that you might need to be within range to land something. So here I said that mechanized detachment is perfect. The extended range from being able to embark and disembark is great for getting the drop on opponents, and Chimera is the toughest vehicle you're allowed to take, and the Enginseer makes it more durable, and you don't have any wasted points on officers because the detachment rule, stratagem clear and secure, and the Enginseer buff is so strong. You have a reactive move too, so if an opponent, let's say you deploy your Chimera out here, the opponent goes first, he walks forward, you can reactive move backwards. Now you also have a scout move. So if you don't go forward, you want to scout move back just out of reach so that if they have corn berserkers or something that can get into range, you're not going to get hit on the first turn before you have the 4-up invul. So you want to scout backwards, and if they still get closer, then you can also reactive move for a CP. And you can put your infantry back into the transport for a CP. So let's say you drop your Kasrkin out. Okay, this is kind of far, but let's say the Ogryn Bodyguard right here. If the enemy charges at it, then you can, for a CP, pop it back into the Chimera if you want. Now, I wouldn't recommend that, but I'm just saying you can. But if they go around and you just want to put something back in a transport, you can also do that. And so it's very easy to put guys back into your transport so they can keep getting the buff when they disembark from it. And if you do use rapid dispersal, the Kasrkin are too far out. But let's say you don't need rapid dispersal, they're hitting something on the front lines. Then, if they're within 3 inches of the transport, you can stick the Kasrkin back in the Chimera. You want your Kasrkin in the Chimera because they're soft. You don't want your command squad back in the Chimera necessarily unless you want to just reset it. So next turn you can come out and hit the enemy with a +1 to wound. So in your deployment, you want to deploy your command chimera first. You want to deploy it somewhere near the middle, and that way it allows the enemy to start deploying their pieces. You want to deploy the Ogryns nearby the chimera so that when the command squad comes out, the Ogryns go in. So if you do that, now the enemy has to deploy 2 units. If they deploy something big, then you know which side you want to put the Chimera on, the one with the Kasrkin. You want to put the Kasrkin Chimera on the same side that the opponent deploys something big. And the reason why is because you want to be within range if you go first to hit that big unit and take it out with a big alpha strike. If the opponent goes first, it doesn't matter because you have scout that you can scout backward, and you also have a reactive move that you can use on your transport. So it's not that big of a deal who goes first. Having that scout move makes your Chimera really more durable by the enemy not being able to hit it in melee. So you want to be following the enemy and deploying your Kasrkin where they deploy their big unit, because what you want is early game, you want to go out, take out that big unit in one turn, take out a lot of their army. And your other Chimera, your Ogryns, your command squad, they're just there to hold objectives. But this style of play is for tabling the opponent. You want to move out, and your Kasrkin are the big damage dealers. You don't want to deploy the Kasrkin Chimera first. You want to deploy it last. So if the opponent deploys on the bottom side of the map, you want to move that Chimera to the bottom side of the map. You're not going to be seeing demons or anything like greater demons. I think the Demon Prince with the wings, it's pretty fast. Its toughness 9 can hit you. Other than that, there's nothing really fast that can get into range to attack your Chimera in melee, because you essentially have a reactive move and a 6-inch scout move that you can scout backwards, and then they have to go all the way around the ruin to try to attack you. And so that's a problem. Remember, Chimeras also have smoke. The reason I'm not taking Tauroxes is because the Chimera can use smoke. So if you're against a gunline army, then you can just smoke your Chimera and make it even unlikely to get killed in melee. In ranged, I meant. Because you want your Chimera to survive. That way your Kasrkin gets the buff from disembarking. And the clear and secure stratagem that gives you full rerolls only works if you disembark. So the last thing you want to do is lose your Chimera. But like I said, this detachment is amazing because of the movement shenanigans you can do with it. And Kasrkin are just naturally really strong damage dealers. Ogryns are really durable. And the Tech Priest Enginseer is the cherry on top. It is the chef's kiss. It is what makes your list go from strong to like really strong. And so anyway, this is our very basic map study in a very basic 500-point game, and we've discussed a little bit of that list, and I've pretty much explained to you why Mechanized Detachment is way better in smaller pointed games than Hammer of the Emperor or even Combined Arms. So thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully, if you guys haven't tried it out, try out playing King of the Colosseum. And if you are already playing 500-point games, then hopefully I helped you with a little bit of list building and a little bit of ideas and what units you should be taking. So always praise the machine god and bless the God Emperor of all mankind.
All must fall before the omniscient might. Sing praise to the God of all